We're right with you. The Morning Majority, 5 to 9 on 630 WMAL.
8:07 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Joe DeGenova, our legal expert in the House this morning. Still to come, we'll get into some very interesting rulings in the last couple of days when it comes to the Fourth Amendment. One in Indiana, the state Supreme Court there, and also the Supreme Court here in D.C. also made an interesting ruling, 8-1 decision. So we'll do that coming up with Joe after traffic and weather. Also, Father Jonathan Morris on the show this morning from Fox. Has written a new book. God Wants You to Be Happy. We'll talk to him all about that and the possibility of the world coming to an end on May 21st. Right now, joined now by Lou Dobbs, host of Lou Dobbs Tonight, Fox Business Network. You can watch him 7 o'clock tonight on the Fox Business Network. Good morning, Lou. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. Great to be with you.
Yeah, it's we love having you on the show. We woke up this morning to find out that the gang of 6 is gone. It's now a gang of 5. Tom, or I don't know, the Freedom 5 or whatever you want to call it. But Tom Coburn's gone, and I have to say, I like Tom Coburn a lot, and I thought if there was somebody who could actually broker a deal that could get done in Washington, it was him. And now that he's gone, it was hope me Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. And am I wrong about that when it comes to Coburn?
I agree with you 100%. Coburn, to me, was the, if you will, the anchor of that gang. If there was to be anything happening, it certainly had to center around Tom Coburn, a man of considerable integrity and intelligence. Without him, I would call them the Fizzled 5. It is, so much is happening right now on debt, the deficit, calls for spending cuts. Without a man of Coburn's stature in that group, it is nothing, as far as I'm concerned, but a sideshow. And for the most part, it was all along.
Yeah. All right, so what are we looking at then? Because, we got, obviously, the House passed a budget, but it's never going to pass in the Senate. It doesn't look like the Senate's going to get anything out. And the president gave a budget that was kind of laughed at, and then he came out with the version 2.0 that's really not all that serious as well. So what are we doing? Are we just looking at a stalemate or just the status quo for the next couple of months?
I think you've nailed it. This is a Congress that can't exert its will against both the Senate and the White House. Laudable as their effort may be, laudable as Congressman Ryan's efforts may be, and I applaud him mightily for bringing the issue to a serious level of debate and discussion. This president is not serious. The Senate Democratic leadership is not serious. And I believe we're consigned to another $2 trillion added to the national debt over the course of the next year to year and a half. And 2012 election will be absolutely historic in its importance.
All right. So, how long do we have where we can keep this up? Can the economy survive another 12 months or 18 months without anything getting done?
The economy can survive, but will prosperity be restored? I don't think so. Will we see markets more buoyant? I don't think so. And we have the capacity, by simply exerting strong, positive leadership from both the White House and from Congress, to really start lifting economic growth, lifting the spirits of the American working man and woman, our middle class, and those who aspire to it. And for whatever reason, the Obama administration, the Republican leadership, simply cannot focus with considerable force on the issue of job creation, wealth creation. There are too many people apologizing for this being a free enterprise capitalist system rather than energizing it, which is, in my opinion, the solution.
So, Lou, Joe DeGenova here. Obviously, we are where we are, at least in my opinion, because of the Tea Party. We've heard a lot about their demise. You think they're still a powerful force?
I think that they have that potential. I agree with you. I believe that their influence seems to have ebbed because they've been unable to exert the expression of the popular will. I thought they would be able to do within the House of Representatives. If this is to be a productive outcome in 2012, they're going to have to re-energize. They're going to have to get serious about organization. And as the saying goes, talk is no longer sufficient.
What did you think of Gingrich's criticism of Ryan's budget?
I thought it was lamentable, to be kind. First of all, it was intellectually so deficient that I was disappointed in Newt. I won't criticize him beyond the political poor judgment and the fact that intellectually he's just utterly wrong. Secondly, he did not give Ryan credit for being bold and bringing to a serious level of discussion critical issues, and that is, of course, what we're going to do in public policy concerning the future of entitlements. This is a time for Newt Gingrich to have been serious. He chose to be capricious and too clever by half, and of course, this is the hallmark of Newt Gingrich in the public arena. Smart as hell, and often too clever by half.
All right, what about the head of the IMF, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, obviously in jail right now? The impact of him being in jail, though, what policy change does that make for the IMF and its effect on our country?
I think that it gives us an opportunity to really examine our role, Joe, with the International Monetary Fund, which is as a, if you will, a under-the-table funder of all sorts of both public policy and economic misadventures, whether it's Romania, whether it's Greece, whether it's Portugal, Ireland. This is de facto a U.S. institution that is working against U.S. interest. The United States, if it wishes to intervene and intercede in behalf of any country, it should do so straight up and straightforwardly. We have created these intermediaries, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, which dilute the positive impacts of U.S. policy and instead magnify our shortcomings. To the world, we often look apathetic, and when in fact it's our capital that's trying to energize institutions and, in the cases I just mentioned, entire economies.
When you look at the IMF and its role on the bailouts for the European countries, were those the right moves? And do you see more of them coming up?
The answer to the latter question is, unfortunately, I see more.
Yeah.
And making that even worse is the fact that I don't believe we should have done so to begin with. It was simply the wrong policies at the wrong time. Greece remains a complete, as my kids would say, a complete hot mess.
Yeah.
There comes a limit for Germany, because Germany is the funder of first and last resorts in the European Union, as you know. Their people, the German people, are going to have a bellyful of this, just as the American people have reached, I believe, a point of no more when it comes to funding international foreign banks and governments that are even more irresponsible than our own.
It seems that Germany is carrying Europe on its back. Is that accurate?
I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to their credit, they have been far better partners within the European Union. And I'm not saying they're doing so without their own very specific ambitions within the union, but they have been a far better partner in that union than I think any one of those nations would have expected.
In fact, there is no European Union without Germany. I mean, Germany is the bellwether, and I got to tell you something. Greece is a disaster. I mean, even with the money, they can't even figure out who murdered that poor woman at the bank. Remember when they had the riots over the cutbacks, and they killed the woman in the bank who was pregnant? The Greeks can't even solve that crime. That's disgusting.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you 100%. And as I say, I believe that the solutions being proffered for Greece remain as ineffectual as the initial approaches. Why they? Well, we know why. They do not. The Europeans do not want to take, as the bankers say, the haircut necessary, because it'll render a number of their financial institutions insolvent, and they don't want to have to deal with that reality.
All right.
Until they figure out that this is the reality, we're going to see continued problems.
Lou, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. We always appreciate your time. Thanks very much.